Donald Trump just dropped a bombshell. He's issued a direct warning that he's going to teach India a lesson. According to him, India has crossed the red line. But here's where things get even more interesting. China stepped in and sent a strong message to Trump. The U.S. told China and others, "Don't buy oil from Russia." China's reply? "We don't care." Yes, those were their exact words. And they didn't stop there. China warned that if the U.S. slaps 100% tariffs on them, they're fully prepared. They said, "Go ahead, do whatever you want. We're ready for it." That's how confident China is. Their economy is huge. They don't flinch at pressure like this anymore. And today, China made a bold statement. America is just 17% of the global economy. It's not the ruler of the world. Now let's break down what's happening behind the scenes. Russia's oil tankers have started arriving at Indian ports. That's right. India is openly receiving Russian oil, and more shipments are already in the pipeline. Meanwhile, China is preparing for the next phase, not just to defend, but to strike back. What's coming next? Massive retaliation. China is getting ready to completely ban exports of rare earth elements to the U.S. This is huge. These rare elements are the backbone of modern tech. Missiles, iPhones, electric vehicle batteries, aerospace tech. Almost everything depends on them. Guess what? 80% of the global supply comes from China. So if China blocks that, U.S. defense, tech, and energy sectors will grind to a halt. But there's more. Trump has now warned India, saying he won't let them get away with buying Russian oil. And what's China doing? They've asked Russia to convince India to fully commit to BRICS and push forward with de-dollarization, ditching the U.S. dollar altogether. Imagine this. China, India, Russia, Brazil, and South Africa forming an economic wall against the dollar, and more countries joining them. That's not just economic rivalry. That's a global currency shift. If BRICS introduces its own currency, even a 500% tariff from the U.S. won't hurt them. Why? Because they won't need to trade in dollars anymore. And then what happens? If both China and India stop exporting to the U.S., who suffers? Not China. Not India. It's the American people, who will now pay much higher prices for everyday goods. Inflation? Skyrocketing. Tech? Delayed. Rare earth supplies? Gone. Stock markets? On the edge. China is also demanding that U.S. companies explain where their rare earth materials are being used. Why? Because China wants to make sure they're not supplying parts used in weapons, targeting their own allies. This is serious. And there's another bold move from China. They've refused to stop buying oil from Iran. So now, if India, China, Russia, Brazil, South Africa all stand united and they reject the U.S. dollar, what happens? The entire global trade structure could collapse. And who benefits? Russia's economy will boom. They'll have new buyers. China and India will be energy secure. Meanwhile, what does the U.S. do? Slap sanctions? Impose tariffs? The world is getting tired. Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, they're all fed up with U.S. economic tactics. The world is shifting. And here comes the biggest economic shift. If half the world says goodbye to the U.S. dollar, then the dollar's dominance ends. It'll trigger a crash in U.S. markets, global recessions, stock sell-offs, oil market chaos. And let's not forget, Europe is still buying gas from Russia, despite what they say about Ukraine. That's the double standard the world is noticing. Trump warned Apple that he'll impose tariffs on them too. What happens if he does? Apple products will become unaffordable for Americans. He's warning Amazon too, and people are starting to push back. Some stores planning to add price tags like, before tariff, $500, after Trump tariff, $750. It's turning into a public embarrassment for Trump. Now ask yourself, if Trump slaps tariffs on China, on India, and warns everyone, where does this all go? Nowhere good. Trump thought he was cornering the world. But now the world is cornering him. This is the biggest trade standoff we've ever seen. And if nations start leaving SWIFT and moving to systems like SIPS or BRICS Pay, the U.S. financial grip will be broken. Even Russia's capture of key mining zones in Ukraine means Trump can't get the minerals he's been eyeing. Guar, and the U.S. warnings, they're backfiring. China, India, Russia, they're standing tall. And slowly but surely, Trump's grip on the global game is slipping. The world isn't following the U.S. anymore. The era of single-handed dominance is ending. Trump's trade tactics may end up hurting